We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
In 1962, President John F. Kennedy promised the citizens of the United States that this country would go to the moon. And 7 years later, with technology less than what we can now hold in the palm of our hands, Neil Armstrong made a giant leap for mankind. Now, I'm sure you all already know this story, but what you may be unaware of is that the same narrative is playing out again, and in the most unlikely of places, the Netherlands. A small, non-profit organization stylizing themselves Mars One has vowed to land a crew on the surface of Mars by 2025. But unlike the 1969 Apollo 11 missions, this crew won't be coming home, ever. The Mars One mission is a one-way ticket with the eventual goal to colonize Mars. It may seem like science fiction, but Mars One isn't the only one with a seemingly far-fetched goal. There are a handful of other companies that are shooting for the stars. But why should we do this? Why should we colonize Mars when we have plenty of other problems to worry about here on Earth? Besides all the potential for scientific advancement and the promising new venture of mining asteroids, many scientists believe that leaving Earth is the only way to save the human race. The reason I chose to focus on Mars One specifically, and one of the reasons that makes this so unique from the other companies with the same goal, is how public the Mars One project is. Much of the budget for Mars One has come from crowdfunding sites such as Indiegogo.com. Another unique aspect was the open application they held for the first 4 spots for the very first colonists to arrive on Mars. In the 5 months the application was open, Mars One received over 200,000 applications. 200,000 people willing to go to Mars and never come back. The first Mars One mission is actually only a few years away. The mission will be an unmanned flyby of Mars as a demonstration of technologies. They also plan to launch a communication satellite that will orbit around Mars that same year. In 2020, a rover and a second communication satellite that will orbit around the Sun will be launched. The rover will be used to choose the appropriate site for settlement and prepare the area for the arrival of supplies and settlers. Between 2020 and 2023, 6 cargo units, which contain living quarters and life support units, will be sent to Mars. The cargo units will be assembled on arrival by the rover. And by 2025, Mars One expects their astronauts to arrive and settle in for their new life on Mars, the first human beings ever to live on another planet. Mars is like the stepping stone of our solar system. Once we get there, the opportunities are endless. Most importantly, scientific and technological research that can't be done here on Earth. The original crew sent to Mars will be conducting research on how their bodies respond to permanent life in a gravitational field less than that on Earth. They will also study the change in gravity effects on plant life that they will grow in hydroponic greenhouses. There will also be studies conducted on the geology of Mars, which can tell us how the planet was formed and give us possible insight on how our planet was formed as well. Another strong advantage of having actual humans on Mars relates to something that is also still science fiction, the mining of asteroids. It is in fact very feasible, and in fact, according to an article in the Business Insider, the Japanese have already announced plans to begin the hunt for asteroids primed for mining. The mining of asteroids could prove astronomically profitable, as it is believed that asteroids bear minerals in them that have been unchanged for billions of years, unlike on Earth, where rock is changed through pressure and heat. This could mean the gathering materials not found anywhere on Earth, and therefore extremely valuable. Having a colony on Mars would allow companies intending to mine asteroids to use the colony as a staging point for their missions. And like the mining companies, those seeking to explore new parts of our solar system could also use the Mars colony as a refueling and stepping off point before jumping into the unknown. The final argument I can make in favor of a Mars colony is perhaps the most terrifying. It was brought to light in a recent interview with Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, another company in the race to Mars. Musk brings up the fact that since the dawn of life on this planet, there have been 5 extinction-level events. These are 5 individual events that nearly wiped out all life on Earth. The worst one of these killed off 90% of all species on the planet. Our planet and our solar system are not known for being calm. The nature of the universe is violent, and another extinction event will happen. We don't have the technology yet to stop an asteroid the size of Manhattan, but that's only one of the problems we face. There are gamma ray bursts, supervolcanoes, overpopulation, and a whole host of natural phenomena that would love nothing more than to eat the human race for breakfast. Much like having all of your eggs in one basket, we have all of our humans on one planet, and the best way to remediate this problem is to spread out as quickly as possible. Hopefully today you have learned something about the importance of the need for human colonization on Mars and beyond. Mars 1 may have many challenges in its path, but I choose to believe that Mars colonization will happen even if Mars 1 isn't the one who puts us there. I also choose to find it exciting that we live in a time of such exponential exploration. The future is now, and more than ever, it depends on the choices of the many.
I have a question.
Yes, sir, in the back.
You mentioned that Mars One is just one of the companies looking to expand to Mars. What other organizations are looking to do the same?
Yes, there is SpaceX, which is owned by the same man who runs Tesla. And there is Destination Mars. There is Get to Mars, which is actually a movement headed by Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut.
And then you also mentioned that Mars One is funded through crowdsourcing.
It's not 100% funded through crowdsourcing, but they do have a lot of crowdsourcing efforts to supplement their budget, which really kind of seems to burden their budget, because you never know 100% how much funds you're going to get from a funding site, so you can't really plan for the future. But it does kind of give us a very hands-on way to affect the Mars One's missions.
Okay, thank you. No other questions.